down the field. Happy tossing dimes, cup $1 million deal. Fantasy football, better know it's real. Tune into the podcast, tell us how you feel. We be going live, best believe we talk.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back in for another episode of the Fantasy Football from Up North podcast. It's Clayton here, and joining me today is my co-host, Habby. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, buddy?
Well, much better now. There's a little
Good day
bit of
after Super Bowl.
Yeah, technical issues here today, but we've hopefully figured it out. Would be nice. But yeah, it was a good Super Bowl. What's your take on it? Brady's the GOAT?
Brady is the GOAT, and he proved it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That Tampa Bay defense was ridiculous. Did you see that stat about Mahomes? How many? I sent it to you on our chat. On Next Gen Stats, Mahomes ran a total of 497 yards before his pass to Saxton. That was ridiculous.
Well, he was pressured a Super Bowl record 29 times.
Oh, Bulls did an amazing job in game planning for that game, man. They just were all over Mahomes nonstop. Yeah, I don't know. I give it to them. I mean, can't say I'm not saying I'm not a Brady fan. Like, he's a GOAT. I'll give him that now for sure. 100%. But yeah, I don't know. Like, people are shitting on Mahomes now too. Like, kid's 25 years old?
Yeah.
Cut the kid a break, man. Like, he's going to come back even stronger next year. Whatever is what it is. The Bucks got the better of them. So it's good to see Arians win one too. And yeah, outside of that, we don't need to talk about it.
He's super young, and he's gonna win. He's gonna learn from this, and like you said, I think Brady won the MVP in this game, but it was their defense that should have got the award. I think. Barrett and JPP they kept Mahomes pressured all game long, and then their secondary just sat back in the zone, and they couldn't get any yards after the catch. They were hitting Hill and Kels like as soon as they got the ball, and that was the biggest difference is the pressure they're getting on Mahomes and the ability for their corners and secondary to make the tackles.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was like great game to watch all around. The Bucks manhandled the Chiefs. So but yeah. So outside of that, though, we're going to discuss some top quarterback, running back free agents available coming up and possible teams they could sign with. It's a jam-packed episode, man. Why don't we just jump right into it? Let's start on the quarterback side. We may as well start off with basically the number one guy on there, Dak. Came out just yesterday, I believe, that they are planning on signing him either to an extension or worst case, they're going to franchise him for the second straight year, which I believe it's going to be around $37 million this year. So as far as you know what, they had their opportunity, 2 years ago? 3 years ago? Yeah. They could have paid him. Probably would have had to pay him somewhere around 25 to 27 million a year. And now they're going to be paying him at least 35 to 40, right? So yeah, they blew it in that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like I was just going to add that, I mean, if they were to franchise him again, it would be $37.7 million hit. So the two sides, I think, will finally agree on an extension, like you said, and in the range of probably 4 years, 158 mil.
Yeah, like how do you not? If you look at it, he's efficient, his accuracy is awesome, mobile. He's proven, he puts up elite stats every single year. And obviously, when he's behind center, it makes everybody on this team better. We saw the experiment with Andy Dalton. That did not go very well. Yeah. Zeke's production was down. They have a talented group of receivers. They didn't do much of anything. Yeah. So I think Jones is going to have to open up his wallet and just pay Dak. I think he re-signs 100% with the Cowboys and is a top 5 quarterback.
Exactly. I mean, they have the team around the quarterback position to make a run, obviously, to the playoffs because their division sucks.
Yeah. So yeah, they do.
And there's nothing out there, and they don't have a high enough draft pick to get a quarterback this year. So you have to sign Dak.
And you already have an elite guy like that to go with the talent that you have on the receiving side of the ball. So yeah, it's pretty much it's a no-brainer in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to a guy like Cam Newton now. Obvious struggled last year, big time. I think he finished as a 30th ranked in QBR.
Yeah.
I mean, to his benefit as well, though, playmakers weren't very good. He probably had the worst supporting cast in the NFL. Completed only 65% of his passes, just threw for just over 2,600 yards and 8 touchdowns. So, and 10 interceptions. But you know what? If you look at him in general as a quarterback, rushed for over 500 yards, scored 12 touchdowns.
Yeah.
You know, he settled for a 1-year deal last year for under $2 million. I think he did enough to prove to a team, you know what? I still got something left in the tank. You know, pay me. Even sign me for another year. Who cares? Just give me a 1-year deal again. I think somewhere like the Broncos or even Washington could use him. You know, bridging quarterbacks between. You know, even if you have Newton behind for Drew Lock, if they end up keeping him. Yeah. You know, let him learn from him, and I think Newton's good enough to play elsewhere.
I agree. He's still got gas in the tank. He was rushing a ton last year. He was trying to show us that he still had the legs. In week 12, he only trailed Lamar and Kyler in rushing attempts. Like you said, his supporting cast was probably the worst in the NFL. Yeah. I could sort of see him maybe going to a team maybe with a rookie quarterback and helping along that rookie quarterback, like the Bengals or something.
Like mentoring him a little bit?
Yeah. I can see him going to the Bengals, actually, and maybe helping out Burrows a bit there.
That would be a good fit, too.
Yeah, but like maybe just like $5 million contract, something like that, 4 or 5, 1 year.
Especially as long as he uses his legs, he's a decent quarterback in that regard for sure. Yeah, I mean, especially fantasy, that's what you want, right? If you got a quarterback that's going to be throwing touchdowns and also running touchdowns in, that's perfect. Talk to me about Jameis Winston, your boy.
Well, new set of eyes, and hopefully this guy's a lot better than he was 2 years ago. I mean, he's had a year to learn under one of the best and a Hall of Fame quarterback in Drew Brees. It's sort of tough to say what he's gonna do because our New Orleans does have Taysom Hill, and there's some good opportunities out there for I think a guy like JMO who's gonna get some offers. And the big one I'm looking at is Indy. Indy needs a quarterback, and I think JMO, if they took a chance on JMO, he could fit in well there. Like I said, he's had a year to learn from his mistakes, and basically throwing to the right team is the biggest one. And he's had some LASIK eye surgery, so you can't discount that.
So no more 30 interception seasons then?
No.
I actually saw something funny on Twitter yesterday. Someone was like, "Hey, do you think the Bucks give Winston a Super Bowl ring?"
Yeah.
Because if he didn't throw 30 interceptions last year, they probably would have given him another shot this year.
Totally.
But you know what? I have to agree with you. Well, agree and disagree. I think there is good opportunities for him to go elsewhere. But as far as Hill goes, I think Hill's a gadget player. He's proved that when he is given the reins, he can't really do much with them, right? We watched that. We watched the production of that whole team fall apart when Taysom Hill, when he played, what was it, like 3 games or something like that when he filled in?
Yeah.
You know what? Well, Thomas wasn't playing, but Sanders, all those guys, all their productions was down. Winston knows this offense, like you said, sat behind Breeze for the year, and he's talented enough to run this high-powered offense efficiently, I think.
Yeah, he's their best option. Yeah, he's their best option out of all the quarterbacks out there if Breeze retires. But I think he was their best option when Breeze went down. Yeah, and exactly. He's surprised. I mean, New Orleans surprised us with putting Hill in, and who knows? Maybe they gave Hill the contract. I don't know what they promised this kid. But if they're planning on going in the offseason trying to form an offense around Hill, then JMO's going to want out. But if they gave JMO, if they say Breeze, if he's done, Jameis, this is your team, then obviously he's got to stay there with the talent around that core, right?
Yeah, and I think it's going to be another 1-year deal. I don't think Payton's going to go all in on him and sign him to a multi-year deal. It's going to go one of two ways. Either he's going to be successful and he'll get that long-term deal, or he'll blow it and he could be out of the league by the following year. You know what I mean? This is kind of his like one chance to prove it kind of thing, right? He's got the weapons around him. It's not like he's going to a team like, say, New England that has nobody, has a shitty offense. The Saints have an elite set of pass catchers, right? Yeah. An elite running back. So all the weapons around him are there. So that's why I think it's going to be, it's pretty much 1-year deal with the Saints, I would think. And it's a make it or break it.
Exactly.
And so, talk to me about what's going to happen with Mitchell Trubisky. What's he going to do? Where's he going to go?
Well, honestly, I think he's going to end up back with Chicago.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what Chicago otherwise is going to do for the quarterback position. And unless they, somehow get into the mix for Watson or something.
No, I think there was talk about Wentz.
Wentz too, that trade,
Yeah, a good chance that Wentz might go there.
Even if Wentz went there, I think that Trubisky, they'll still sign Trubisky and have him behind Wentz for the beginning of the year. I do think he's going to end up back in Chicago. I mean, on maybe a 1 or 2 year contract, and they don't want him to start. They need somebody else there to be the starting quarterback and Trubisky to be I don't think he's going to go anywhere else and start. So he might as well stay in Chicago because he knows that offense a little bit.
Right. And, obviously the start to the year was rough. I did lead them, though, to the playoff berth. You know where I like him to go? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I love this fit.
It was a rushing game that got them to the
San Fran. Let's put Trubisky, San Fran.
Oh man, Chapman.
Chapman. He'll go. He'll. I'll get a text tomorrow for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hate it. Only because of this. Because I think Trubisky having a fresh start in San Fran, I think could do him some good. Right. Obviously, his career has been up and down in Chicago. In my opinion, never been given a real shot, even since the day he was drafted, right? I mean, it's not his fault that Chicago decides to trade up and sign this kid. But
he's supposed to be a little bit better than he is, though.
Yeah, that's very true. But he could compete in San Fran. So San Fran could keep their capital, load up on their teams with their draft picks, let Jimmy G still be the quarterback there. Trubisky could go in there, probably compete with him. His skill set fits Shanahan's defensive system, to be honest with you. His scheme. Perfect, right? He's mobile quarterback and is way better when he's able to move the ball. In Chicago, it just seems like he's basically in the pocket and that's it. I think send Trubisky to San Fran.
Oh man.
Hey Chapman,
I don't think there's any offense in the NFL that fits. Maybe he came down to the CFL, will have an offense for him, but that fits Trubisky perfectly. He just doesn't have the skill set to fit the NFL perfectly.
Well, you just wait. San Fran, baby. Chapman said, make a call, buddy. Make a call.
All right. Good luck.
How about Fitzmagic? What are you doing with him?
Well, he's one of the free agents I like. And you know who I think is going to go after him? Bill. Oh. Bill wants a beard in New England. Yeah. I think he'd be a good fit there. Obviously, they need some help in the receiving core. They always have an abundance of mediocre running backs, but I like Fitzmagic. I like what he did in Miami last year, and he's sort of resurged himself in the last few years by just what I've heard in interviews and stuff. He's totally turned around his whole outlook on his NFL career. I mean, if he 3 years ago he was contemplating retiring, and then he came back, and we've seen what he did in his last couple of years. Just a stud out there. Unfortunately, he is a known journeyman, and nobody really wants to build a Super Bowl team around this guy. But he's done nothing but put up huge numbers. And last year in Miami, I mean, he was like their closer when Tua was in there. Tua would start the game, and then Fitzpatrick for a couple of them came in and finished it for him. And I think he'd be a good fit in New England, to tell you the truth.
I do like that as well. They were also saying that if he was to go to Patriots, he'd be the first one that plays for every team in that division, I think is what they said. Because he's played for all of them, right? He played for Buffalo. If he goes to he's played for the Jets, played for Miami, sent to New England. He's covered every team in that division. That'd be kind of neat. So
behind Dak, he's probably my number 2 free agent quarterback.
Yeah, right, I think, like you said, I like the New England fit. I also think that a great opportunity for him would be to go to Denver as well, right?
Yeah,
they're not high. They're not high on Locke.
No.
Like they made that very clear. And what could Fitzpatrick do with these pass catchers, with Jerry Jeudy, with Noah Fant, with Hamler, and I mean, you name it, Sutton, right? His aggressive play, man, in this offense could be huge for fantasy. It'd be amazing.
Yeah. That'd be a good fit for him too. Probably succeed a little bit more than he would in New England.
I mean, he's not a running quarterback. That's just how it is. He's just you know what? He's a YOLO. Let's just, you know what? You only live once, buddy. Just launcher.
Yeah.
Get him downfield.
We've seen his best football in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's producing. So I mean I think he's definitely leaving Miami, because just that whole, I think they need him out of there so Tua doesn't feel like he's going to come in again and take over. So but yeah, either one of those fits is good. New England, Denver, one of those two would be perfect.
Yeah.
Now just touch on the 3 guys here that I have written down: Brissett, Dalton, Tyrod Taylor. As far as Brissett goes, this is going to happen 2 ways. Either he's going to stay with the Colts or he's not. Simple as that. So my way of thinking about this is, if for some reason there's a quarterback left at 21 for the Colts, right, and they take him, I think they choose to keep Brissett around just to back up, right? Back up and kind of mentor this kid, right?
Yeah.
Now, if they go out and get a guy like, say, Carson Wentz, which was talked about earlier, there's kind of talk about him in the Colts as well. I think they choose to let Jacob Eason back, say the veteran up, Wentz or whoever it is, and I think Brissett goes somewhere else. He's a great leader. He's been good he's good leadership. He's got good leadership. Whether he's starting or not, he's just a positive presence in there. I think that's a perfect spot. You mentioned it earlier, for a veteran to go somewhere like Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
If Joe Burrow isn't ready to start the season because of his injury, I think Brissett could easily step in and then afterwards could mentor Burrow.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that'd be a perfect fit for him, because Cincinnati knows Brissett's proven he can win. You know what I mean? Put him in there. He's a dual quarterback. Put him in there. If Burrow's not ready, no need to rush Burrow back. If you got a guy that could kind of keep the
ship afloat.
I was going to say keep the boat afloat. Is that the same thing? Keep the boat afloat,
man. It's a ship.
Boat.
Yeah, boats and ships are the same.
Little tugboat.
I think ships are bigger. Ships are way bigger.
So I like that spot for him. Place like Cincinnati.
I see like these 3 quarterbacks sort of in the same grouping. They could all sign with the same teams they're on. But they could also like Brissett and Tyrod Taylor could move on to roles like maybe with the Jets or something, where they have a number 1 quarterback that they're just not sure of right now. And these guys could push them, or even if Darnold comes out of the gates stumbling again, they could throw one of these guys in there and like take over that job, because I mean the Jets, they don't have very much, with all the talk about trading Darnold or bringing in Watson. They have no faith in Darnold, it seems.
No.
So it'd be good for them to bring in somebody to, if Darnold, they don't like what they see out of Darnold in the first 3 games, to get him out of there, And like Tyrod Taylor, I was talking about, you didn't really have a high praise for him, but we
Well,
didn't
you
see
know what?
much of him. We didn't see
After-
much of him coming into the Chargers season. He was their starter. He had an unfortunate, some lady punctured his lung for him, so that screwed him. In steps Herbert, and the rest is history. You can't put in Tyrod again after you've seen what Herbert gives you. So he got kind of jacked out of that spot, and we've seen capable starts out of him in Buffalo, and he's better, I think, than some of the starting quarterbacks out there, like Locke, like Darnold.
There's lots of places like Carolina. You could go anywhere. You could go to all these places. Where I like Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, when I mentioned it to you and you brought that up, I was like, "What is?" Yeah, go ahead, talk about him. But immediately I started reading up stuff on him, and then next thing you know, I'm like, okay, this is kind of intriguing. This someone threw this out, said, "What about a place like Baltimore to go?"
Yeah,
I'm like, you know what? Basically, puncture lung, you're done, right? Herbert came in, dominated, right? Now go to a place like Baltimore, a team that could compete now, and similar. He knows the system already. He played for Harbaugh for 4 years already at the start of his career. If Lamar was to go down, Taylor has the same kind of skill set as Lamar. Maybe not as electric and all that stuff like that, explosive, but put him in there. This offense doesn't change at all.
Yeah.
Right? He knows it. They keep running it the same way. As far as Dalton goes, I like Dalton to go to a place like New England, similar to what like Brissett offers stability at the position. The Patriots definitely need that. We saw the Gong Show last year, and he could technically start the year until a quarterback, or until if they draft the quarterback, until he's ready for the big leagues, I think.
Yeah.
So. Do you have any other quarterbacks you want to touch on?
The Red Rifle. Nobody's gonna pick his ass up. No, that's it.
That's pretty much it. Let's go to. This is kind of a bigger list, kind of. I limited down to only like 7 players, but we could talk about however many you want. Talk about free agent running backs. Talk to me about Aaron Jones.
Jones. All right. Well,
the man.
He is the top dog in the free agency pool. Unfortunately for him, it looks like Green Bay is probably going to move on from him, I would say. Their backfield's looking pretty set with their rookie back, and oh shit, I forgot his name.
Jamal, but he's... Are you talking about Jamal Williams?
No, not Jamal. They're rookie.
Oh, Dylan.
Dylan, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about Dylan.
That's who they're gonna go with. I'm pretty sure. And Jones is probably gonna be moved out, I would say. And where I would like to see him go to a building team that we saw from last year that was getting better, could use this huge part, is Miami.
Yeah, I like
Dolphins. And like I said, they're a rising team, and I think A. Jones would fit in good there with Tua, especially if they drop Waddell like I thought they're gonna.
What I can't understand is why Green Bay would let a guy like this walk. I understand they wasted that capital on Dylan.
Yeah,
but
that's why.
In the last 2 years, Jones has compiled a ridiculous over 3,000 yards from scrimmage and 30 touchdowns. That's insane. That kind of production you're not going to find from a rookie's not going to be able to do that in 2 years. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No one wants the paybacks anymore.
Yeah, well, that's just the thing,
game's
right?
turning into an air assault, and they just want to pay their receivers and their quarterbacks.
Yeah, but I love the Dolphin fit. I think as far as reliability goes, Jones is that true 3-down back.
Yeah.
Not many weaknesses for him. And Gaskin, as good as he was in 2020, the Dolphins need a playmaker, right? A game changer like a guy like Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, you add a receiver. They got a ton of picks thanks to fucking Bill O'Brien, but whatever. Carry on with that, Clayton. But anyways, add a couple receivers on that offense to go with Tua, throw an elite running back there. I mean, this team is...
They're pretty good. They got a good defense, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed last year, or this past year, that they can... And in that division with New England, sputtering, and they got a lot of easy games now, so they could get a lot of wins again next year.
Yeah, exactly. Little tough with Buffalo in that division, though.
But they,
but no, I see what you're saying.
They just got to build their team to compete with them. Like,
yeah. But I love that fit for him.
They need to bring in Miami needs to bring in an elite player in the receiving core, and I'm not talking about the draft. They need to bring in a free agent elite player. Like the best player on their offense, they need to bring in for next year.
Yeah, they definitely will need to add another receiver on top of one they're probably going to end up drafting.
Yeah.
Right? They only have Preston Williams back there, Devontae Parker. Actually, I could tell you right now who they have. Give me a second here. You know, their number one right now is Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, and then Lynn Bowden, right? So, I mean, you replace those guys. Williams has been, injured pretty much. Been okay when he's been on the field. Parker is getting up there. I mean, he's still a young guy, still can produce, but I think you put Parker as your wide receiver 3, add a veteran and a rookie. I think and then add Aaron Jones. I think this freaking offense is dynamite.
Yep.
I want to talk about Chris Carson real quick. Averaged over 1,000 scrimmage yards and 9 touchdowns over the last 3 seasons. And he could catch the ball. He's a 3-down back, in my opinion. Tough to rely on health-wise. He was injured a little bit this year, and every year he seems to be missing games. He's proven to be very productive, and I think he's a good fit for what the Seahawks want to do in 2021. So it'd be shocking if they didn't sign him again. I mean, remember at the end of the year, Carroll came out and said, "You know what? We want to run the ball more."
Yeah.
Right. Let's not let Russ cook anymore because Russ cooked halfway through the year and he was dynamite MVP bound, and then all of a sudden Carroll goes back to running the ball, and then look what happened to Seattle. I don't know. That's weird coaching philosophy from Carroll, in my opinion.
They're sending some sort of weird signals too. Like they drafted Rashard Penny in the first round in 2018, and they added DJ Dallas in the 4th round in 2020, and it could signal, because they didn't retain him this year, that they're looking for somebody else. But like the start of his career has been good. He was drafted 249th overall.
Yeah. And
for a guy drafted that deep, the start has gone as good as it can. I do think he walked. They're going to let him walk though.
Okay, what about this for a landing spot? A place like Buffalo.
Yeah.
I know you got Singletary. I know you got Moss. Neither of those guys have proven to be a game changer. Neither of them has a skill set that Carson does.
Yeah.
Right. And we saw how explosive the Bills were all year. If Watson does leave Houston, I think I'm off the bandwagon too. I think I'm going to be a Bills fan.
Oh, sure. Jumping on.
I'll jump. I still got to jump on that table. I ain't doing it now because you know how cold it is out there, man.
Oh yeah.
It is like ridiculously cold outside right now. But anyways,
you may shatter when you hit the ground.
100% I would, and I'm an old bastard too. My bones would just seize right up in the cold.
I'd like to see more out of Moss in Buffalo.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, and before I deem him as a bust, but I do like that landing spot with Singletary not really showing to be in a sort of a back that they can rely on. I like the Carson fit there with Moss. That would be a good 1-2 punch. Well, and for a team that needs to knock off KC, they should bring in as much talent they can. Well, especially when they need to get their fucking run game going.
Exactly. They need an exploit. He could be the missing piece to, technically to make a run at the Super Bowl, right? That's what they needed to do from the get-go, right? And neither of these guys could produce in the run game. Go get an elite guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think they will go after one of these guys that we're talking about. Let's talk about we'll talk about your favorite running back of all time right now, Kenyon Drake. What are we doing with him?
The Drake. Well, he had an eventful path to unrestricted free agency and was traded in the middle of the 2019 season from Miami to the Arizona Cardinals. And last year, he did not show me any sort of starting capabilities. I preached his backup for him to be benched all year, but they did go to him because every 5 games he'd have a good game, and then it would give him reason to keep plugging him in there.
But did you look at his stats, though? Set a career high in rushing yards, over 950, and touchdowns. He had double-digit touchdowns last year.
Yeah, he finished the campaign strong. I'll give him that. But Chase Edmonds looked every bit as explosive, though.
3 straight seasons with over 1,000 scrimmage yards, man. Don't tell me this guy can't start. He can start.
He can't. No. I don't think so.
I think he got the shaft in Arizona. And fine, send him away. Send him away. More than happy. Drake will be happy.
No, they're going to sign him again. I think he's going to end up in Arizona again.
He does work better.
They like him there.
Yeah, he does work better in a committee. Obviously, between him and Edmonds, I think they did a great job last year. And that's what I have. I said the Cards will most likely try to re-sign him to a team-friendly deal. But if he should go elsewhere, send him to Green Bay. You know what? Send him to Green Bay. He could split work with Dylan, and I'm assuming that Jamal Williams is leaving as well, and Jones leave. Both of them leave, right? So put a kind of a vet like this behind or ahead of Dylan, and let Dylan be the number 2, and go from there. But my money's on them signing him again.
If they sign him again, I'd like them to see more split carries.
Oh, to definitely be committee, like 50-50, pretty much straight across the board for sure. How about the one guy I don't know, I used to like him a lot, but not anymore. James Conner.
Yeah, Conner's production has stalled after impressive start to the Steelers' career, but the lack of dominance also with the team's run blocking just being terrible. Conner is just puttered out, and I think that they drafted Anthony McFarland and Benny Snell, and I think that they're going to move on from Conner, and we're probably going to see, I could see him going to somewhere like the Jets, somewhere poopy.
Yeah, that's where I have him as landing. But yeah, the thing with Conner is, though, he could have made a shit ton of money in 2020 had he just been productive. Yeah. Right? But then he gets hurt, and then he's out with COVID. You know what I mean? He just couldn't get on the field long enough to do that. I mean, he hasn't proven that he could carry the load, right? Any year that he has played, there has been another back behind him. Yeah. And he hasn't been able to put in a full year of being not missing time with injury, right? So, send him to a place like, he's a decent pass catcher or pass protector, so you could give him that, he catch the ball out of the backfield. But a place like the Jets would be perfect for him.
He'll make the most money.
He'll make the most money there. He'll be the RB1 there. He's a better back than LaMichael Pirine, in my opinion. Yeah. So, I mean, send him there. Go collect your money. Just don't be in a Pittsburgh uniform anymore.
Pittsburgh does need to get their O-line figured out. They were terrible this year.
No, they were brutal. I agree with you. How about Todd Gurley? What are we doing with him? Is he just going to pack her in, or is he going to resign or go somewhere else? What's he doing?
I don't know. How old is he? He's only like 31 or something, eh?
Yeah, something. Well, why do you ask these questions? You can send this stuff to me on the show note page that we have and be like, hey, let's get his age, let's get all this stuff. But no, you got to throw it at me right now. Like I got all the birth dates in front of me too, guy. I'm
asking you as in a question. Hey, if you don't know, you don't know. But whatever. He's
Keep
not
talking. I'll find it.
He's past the running back, I guess, age limit. I would say he's on his way down. Obviously, in Atlanta, they need to turn to somebody else. I think he's going to end up signing with Atlanta again. But I do hope and I think that they draft Harris, or no, I just want them to draft Harris or other running back. But I want them to go after Harris with their first round pick. And I think that Gurley would help him immensely if they can bring in one of those top tiered running backs to slowly take over that starting role. I think that Gurley would. I mean, he's a vet. He's been around.
He is only 26 years old.
26.
26.
So he's
young buck.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. I said they're going to re-sign him. He had over 800 yards from scrimmage, 9 touchdowns last year. Career low in carries though, 195. Yeah. And the thing is with the Falcons knowing this is why I do think he might sign with the Falcons. With them knowing that they weren't going anywhere, they kind of managed his workload, right? With Ito Smith and Brian Hill both. So why rush a guy 250 plus times when you're not going anywhere, right? Yeah. You know he's got bad knees. I think they draft a running back, like you said, like a guy like Harris, and they re-signed Gurley for 1 more year. Let him be in a committee to start the year while a rookie gets comfortable. So
he started good, but Atlanta needs somebody else that gets at least the same production as Gurley did, because the more they used them, you could see he was wearing down.
Yeah, they gotta the Falcons gotta start preparing for the future, in my opinion. So I mean, they're most likely going to get a QB in this draft.
I wouldn't say this draft. Maybe next draft.
Maybe next one.
I think Ryan and Julio are gonna be pushing for another hopefully repeat of a couple of years ago. Well, I've heard. I mean, there was talk of them both moving on, but then the last word I heard of coming out of Atlanta was that they both decided to stay and try and make something of what the juice they got left in Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not a.
But
I'm off the Julio bandwagon.
If they stumble out of the gates this year, that's it. I don't think their owner's going to take any more of that. Julio, you're going to see Julio gone, and you're going to see Matty Ice either taking a backseat to a rookie next year or traded.
Yeah.
Or just gone.
Yeah. All right, Philip Lindsay. He's going to be an interesting name. He's a restricted free agent, and I think most likely he'll probably be tendered this year. I'm guessing for probably around a second rounder, meaning a team could offer Lindsay a deal, but the Broncos can match it if they want, or they basically, what is it, a second round? I'm just trying to read here what I wrote here. A second rounder to tender in 2020 was around $3.2 million. So they're going to have to pay Lindsay that if they match it. And if not, then I guess he walks. But I think they do sign him. He's got back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, struggled with injuries 2020, only played 11 games. He's going to be a Bronco for this year. I think they'll tender him. I think they'll pay him, kind of see what happens. I still think Lindsay should be their number one running back as long as he can stay on the field. Yeah, I think a little frustrating I'd be pissed if I was him, undrafted free agent, dominates for 2 years, and then they bring in Melvin Gordon. Let's pay the shit out of Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
And then it's got to be frustrating, but I think Lindsay stays with the Broncos, and I think eventually he takes over that role again.
I agree. Like, I think his anger for what they did bringing in Gordon may push him out of here. If an opportunity arises because I think he would be a good compliment in one of the contenders. Like, he could go to KC or he could go to Green Bay, and that's the type of back that they're looking for, especially his excellent pass catching abilities. And if he gets an opportunity with those two, and especially if Denver doesn't bring in a decent quarterback, I would get the hell out of there.
Yeah. But he's still restricted, right? So, I mean, all they got to do is, unless a team's going to need him, right? So they're going to have to pay for him to take him away from Denver, right? Because they're going to have to pay Denver. They're obviously going to have to give him something, and it's not going to be cheap, right? They're not going to just let him walk. So
yeah,
that's why
I guess if they do trade for a quarterback, he could be in the deal or something.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see what you say about this one. Lev Bell. What are you? I don't know. You want me to? Done. I don't. What about this? Let me talk.
I mean, did he get a carry?
No, he's been brutal. He wasn't used at all. I mean, he was better. Darrell Williams beat him out. in carries. I don't know what happened. I don't know if injury. I don't know what it was. But here's what I think. How crazy would this be? What about if Lev Bell ended up going back to the Steelers?
Him and Ben kissing and making up.
Exactly. They don't have to pay him a shit ton of money, right? He left because it was a contract issue, right?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh didn't want to pay him $13 million or whatever he thought he was worth at that time. Let him walk, so be it. Now you bring him back, you're going to get him dirt cheap, maybe half of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Let him start. He knows
and
the
laugh in
system.
his face. Just laugh in his face.
Oh yeah.
Sign him just to laugh in his face.
he knows the system. They're going to need a running back. You know what I mean? They only got those two. They got Snell and McFarland back there right now. I think put Lev Bell back there. With Ben coming back for another year, plus all those receivers, how stacked they are. They're in win now mode. This is pretty much their last win now mode system or year because Ben's going to be gone the following year, right?
Yeah.
I think you sign Bell, give him $6, $7, $8 million, bring Bell back, Tomlin, be buddies again, and put Bell back in the mix, man, and see what happens.
I don't think he should even make $6 or $7 million. If he's gonna sign next year, like 5 the most. But I like a team again, like the Dolphins. If they're trying to bring in talent that to try and make that team better, I could see him going there as well. Again, another guy.
There'd be a lot of TikTok videos if he was
even
more TikTok videos.
Or maybe you know what? He's probably on the phone to his buddy AB right now saying, "Get me a fucking Super Bowl ring. Sign me. Tell your buddy Brady I want
Bring me aboard. Well, we'll talk about that then. What are we doing? Fournette. I think Tampa's bringing all those guys back.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Fournette signs. I think they have to pay Godwin. Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about that when we discuss our wide receiver tight ends.
Evans has already came out and said he will take a restructured contract, use some of my money to get the team back, everybody back.
Yeah, because they could go back to back. We see Brady, not counting Brady out. So,
but after you just kicked the shit out of KC, like, why not?
Yeah,
why not? It wasn't even close.
No, not.
And it was their defense.
Oh, it was awesome to watch. It was good to watch.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right. Do you have anybody else you want to touch on real quick?
No. What do you think? Do you think that Mike Davis or James White land anywhere, get moved or anything?
I don't think. I think they're just going to pay them to back up both those guys again. Like how do you let a guy especially the situation that Carolina's in right now? How do you let a guy like Davis, who is ridiculous fantasy wise too, amazing for fantasy, back up probably the best running back in the league, and do what he did in that that shitty offense, I guess.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. So I
that's why. Do you think he'll maybe get some better offers elsewhere, or
might garner attention, but I just think he's going to be better. I don't think they run McCaffrey 350 times.
No.
I think they keep Davis on. I mean, it's not going to be a 50-50 a split or anything like that. But I could see a 73. I still think Davis is going to see some action.
Yeah.
And even if they run both of them out there, right? He proved he could be just as good as a pass catcher as well, right? So. Yeah. And as far as James White goes, I think Belichick's not going to let James White leave. They don't really have.
Maybe he sneaks over to Tampa with his buddies. His
buddies. They have the most ridiculously stacked backfield.
Yeah. Well, just all mediocre guys.
Yeah. Bring Bell over here too.
Ojo, who was a bum, and the NFL was ready to just discard a year ago, right?
Yeah.
And then Fournette, same thing. Everybody thought he was done. Yeah, now they got Super Bowl rings. And Shady McCoy sitting on the bench back-to-back years with Super Bowl rings now.
And now he's going to be like, hey, you guys want me to play for you? You got to pay me. I'm back-to-back champion here.
Yeah. He just picks who he thinks is going to win the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
That's on your bench.
All right, well, then that's going to be about it for us. If you haven't followed us on Twitter yet, please do so. You can find me at FF from Up North. That's pretty much the one I'm constantly on. And Habby, what about you?
At 29 Habby.
And also, we have an Instagram page, a private Facebook group now. Feel free and jump into there as well. I got to just give you the A-OK to be in it, where we're going to talk all fantasy all year long. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm going to leave all the links in the show notes below, so everyone's going to be able to it'll be one click. You'll be able to get into where you need to go. And outside of that, appreciate everybody listening. We will be back eventually at some point, probably next week. I think, it is the off season now, so probably cut her down.
To talk about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have
Get
lots
some
of ideas
sweet ranking shows.
We can fight about them.
Yeah, some all-timers.
Yeah, we will.
All-time rankings.
We could do that. We definitely could do that. We will be back, though, to talk some wide receivers, tight ends at some point. And outside of that, thanks for listening, everybody. Appreciate all the support from everybody that you have shown us. And peace out.
Peace.
Clayton caught a pigskin running down the field. Happy tossing dimes, $2 million deal.